What's happening, guys and girls? Welcome back to the channel. Look at this. Look at this. The UK is experiencing some kind of 7-degree sunshine for half a second. I'm so happy that there is some kind of spring happening. It's been so grey for so long. Moving on, the 930 Turbo has gone in for a major service. So I took it to Porsche Center Wolverhampton because they have a classic department where they said, you know what, bring it down, we need to do the big service on it, see how it's getting on. Now, I think I've managed to catch something before it's cost me thousands of pounds. And plus, you know, when we had that mouse that was living in there, it's actually caused more damage than I initially realised. So we're going to go and take a look at what they found. I'm so happy that it's in somewhere where it's going to get a proper look over. I'm super excited to get it back because after this, it's going in for her transformation because I am determined to drive this car this summer. It is my most favourite thing that I own. And it's bloody brilliant when it comes to summertime. So we're going to take you over to Porsche Center Wolverhampton, where my lovely 930 Turbo has been hiding for a few days.
All right, so we have my little baby back, and it's in the direct dialogue bay. Basically, it's like a really nice part of the dealership where they can come and chat to you about your car, and if there's anything that they need to go through, it's like a nice space. They can put it up on the lift. So it's exactly what we're going to do now. We're going to pop the car up on the lift. I'm pretty sure I know what they're going to tell me, but you never know. I love an advisory list. It's normally as long as my arm. So we're going to have a little check out what's on there. But it sounds sweet. Louis managed to drive it. Louis, what was the clutch like?
Hard to find.
Hard to... Couldn't find reverse. Rookie. Right, let's see what's wrong with this car. What's right with it? Everything, so it's fine. Don't worry. Okay, so we have my beautiful little 930 back. And good news is it's not terminal. But we had this conversation last time when I took it into, I think it was RPM Technic. There are some things with these cars that you need to stay on top of because at the end of the day, I mean, this car was born in 1989, 88. So that means it's 30. God, I can't do quick math. What's that? It's going to be 35 this year. I'm 32 and I'm not even 32, I'm 31. I'm almost knackered. So this thing's doing a lot better than I am. You just need to stay on top of a lot of the perishables. So rubber lines, hoses, that type of thing, CV boots. I mean, one of the worst things that I noticed about this, remember we had the whole mouse saga earlier in the year where a lovely little mouse decided it was going to take home in the front of the car. I noticed that it managed to get into the cabin. So I've just had a very quick look at the health check here and the seatbelt is an issue. In fact, it's a red issue. This is not ideal. This is something that we need to get sorted immediately because at the end of the day, it's your seatbelt, it's your safety belt. So we're getting that on order right now because that is something that I do need to sort out ASAP. But Jim, can you give me a little rundown of the things that really need to be done on this car?
Yeah, so you've already covered the seatbelt. Obviously the condition it's in is not ideal.
Apparently, you know, they saw it and they were like, what has she been doing in here? And I was like, I promise you it's a mouse. It's a mouse, don't worry.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll get that in order.
And the other thing as well, do you remember last time when I came in here, there was, I think it was a bearing that had collapsed in the boss of the steering wheel?
Yes, so there was, I took the steering wheel off.
Yeah.
And at the top of the steering column there's a little sleeve that was missing. So we fitted that and alleviated all the free play now that was in the steering wheel.
That is so nice because when I was driving it before, it was so sketchy. There was so much play up and down and side to side in the steering wheel that it became a disaster for me to drive, really, because the steering on these is quite heavy. Obviously, there is no power steering in these cars. They're quite agricultural. So as soon as you have any kind of play in the steering wheel, it becomes very uncomfortable to drive. And it makes it feel really nervous as well when it's vagueness. It felt quite nervous on the motorway. Like, you'd be like, is it actually wandering or is the steering wheel? Yeah, like... So what else as well? Because I remember we talked about CV boots. Should we pop the car up?
Yeah, sure.
Let's have a quick look. Here we go. Let's have a quick look. I remember that we were saying there was a tiny bit of leakage around the gearbox. Yep, there was like a tiny bit of seepage there. Yeah.
So it just needs a new gasket on that.
Did you do the CV boot? Ah, there it is. So this is our issue right here. So you can see that the CV boot is completely. It needs changing.
Yeah, so it needs the inner CV boot as well as the outer CV boot on this side.
And can you tell everybody why having an intact CV boot is ideal.
So the CV boot holds in the grease that lubricates the joints on the drive shaft.
Yep.
If there's no grease, they can get hot, and then eventually they'll wear out and potentially fail. And then once it's failed, I'm stuck at the side of the road, unfortunately.
And that's the thing, guys. It's all these small maintenance parts that just basically stop you from being in a bother later on. Do you know what I mean? I'm actually very impressed with how clean the car is underneath. Like, one of the things that I've always had a big panic about is the kidney bowls. Like, people say, once this goes behind here, you're in big trouble, and it's a lot of work and it's a lot of money. And thankfully, I've had a good check through here, and she's in good condition, which is a big sigh of relief for me, because I'm telling you, that will be a fairly large bill once that comes to go. But that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we're maintaining this and keeping it as nice as possible. What else have we got up here? So this was the...
So this is the oil hose here that connects your oil tank.
Yeah.
Which is your main reservoir for engine oil.
Now, guys, the oil system on these cars is so agricultural. It's literally like Victoria plumbing. Like, I've said this before, the way it comes from here to here and then just goes down the side.
Just an exposed hose.
It literally, you see this little pipe here, which looks like something. Is it that one?
Yeah, it's both of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Flower and return.
They just. Do you not think it's like amazing how I just love the way they are so simple?
Yeah, very, very functional.
Yeah, but look, that's the beauty of them.
So with this hose here,
Yeah.
it connects your oil tank to the crankcase.
Yeah.
Over time, like you mentioned earlier, perishables, they get hard, they go brittle.
Yeah.
And it is just starting to crack a little bit here by this clamp.
Yeah.
If that hose does go,
Oil.
when you're driving the vehicle, it's going to lose all the oil.
Death.
And then...
Engine death. That's the number one thing I was always taught about cars. If you ever see a red light on your dashboard for oil, turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off now.
Yes.
So that to me is a number one priority. So we'll get one of those ordered as well.
And then there's just a little bit of an engine oil leak.
Oh, I mean, look,
so
come on now.
We've had the cam covers off as part of the service for the valve clearances, just checking, make sure they're all in specification.
Yeah.
Just put it back together, ran it up afterwards, and there's just a little bit of an oil weep. It looks like it's coming from between the cam carrier and the top of the cylinder head.
To be fair, it's been better. It did have a fairly brutal oil leak for a while that I was chasing, and it seems to be better. So I'm kind of like, I feel like if it's a small weep, I'll live with that for now. You kind of have to accept that she is what she is. Oh, and what was on the exhaust as well? Did you say because I didn't realise for ages one of my number plate lights was out and I couldn't figure out why.
Yeah, so what it is I noticed that the fuse box cover was off, and I noticed the registration plate lamp fuse was blown.
Yes.
So up here, just put it down. So these supply the power and ground to your number plate lights, and they've got a bit warm on the exhaust.
Warm, or they've melted, my friend.
Melted.
She gets a bit. Do you know what? This car spits flames, though. I was saying this the other day. You can see where it's literally just right onto it there.
Yeah, it just fell down and just melted it, especially if it's
sure. Look.
spitting flames quite regularly.
Yeah, every time I look at this car and I hear it, it reminds me how much I absolutely love this thing. And if you love something, you have to take care of it. And it's all a learning experience for me as well, because these are things that I've never had to consider before. Yeah. But I want to make sure that this car is in pristine conditions. That's one of the reasons why I brought it down to the Porsche Center Wolverhampton, guys, because I want it to have all the best service history. I want it to have the best of the best. I want to know that this car is going to have the longevity that I can be driving it when I'm in my 60s. Do you know what I mean? Because it's an antique and it's rare. I was about to say like me, and I'm not an antique or rare. So it's single turbo, lots of lag, big spool.
Nothing till about 4,000 RPM, and
then a waltzer.
And then everything.
Yeah.
And then you've got to change gear, but then it starts all over again. But yeah, that is one of my favourite things about them, to be fair. And they're just a cool car, aren't they?
Yeah.
There's just something about them.
I think they're timeless. Like this design hasn't aged to me at all. Like, it's just class. I think they're a sweet spot in automotive design that we'll never see an era like that ever again.
No.
which is what it's the car that I needed to have. Like, I don't really care about anything. I know that sounds kind of bad. I don't really care about anything else. Like, it's not like I really want like a Ferrari F355 or I just love this shape so much. Like, a G-body is just
classic.
It's just sick, yeah. The wheels, they're actually in better nick than I thought they were. These are 3-piece and I am gonna get them split. Where this car is going next is going to high caliber detailing to have a few little nip tucks here and there and just have a deep clean, because after the mouse taken residence and shat in the cabin, little fuck, I believe that the car does need a nice little deep clean. But ultimately, it's fine. We're gonna get the oil return pipe, we're gonna sort the seat belt, and we're gonna do the CV boots. Jim knows what the crack is. Perfect, Jim. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Guys, if you do have a classic Porsche, they are very experienced here at Porsche Center Wolverhampton with dealing with things like this. I know they've had a 930 slant nose in, they've obviously had my car in, and there is a tech here at the minute who's going through his classic training. So on site, they'll be able to help you out. I have had nothing but a great experience here, and they've been very, very kind to me, and we're going to be seeing a lot more content coming from here. Because you know what? It's lovely. I can come down, film some cars, have a coffee, talk rubbish with Louis. It's a sweet spot. So I'm going to go jump in the car now, get this car over to high caliber detailing to go into the next process. They're going to order the bits here, stamp the service book with an official Porsche Center sticker, stamp, whatever it is, and we'll get on the road. So see you in a minute. It feels so good to have the car back on the road. I cannot tell you how much more comfortable it is now, like knowing that the steering wheel is actually not moving around when I'm driving. I did notice one thing when I went through the health check as well. For ages, my horn wasn't working in the car, so I didn't know what it sounded like. And now they've obviously soldered the wire back on, and my horn, it's so pathetic. I don't see it. Like, how can anyone be mad at me if I literally was like, stop that? But it's brilliant to have the car back, and they've given it a really nice clean out as well. Like, it's been valeted. It's just a joy to drive this thing. I was just thinking about it then. I've got no radio. I've got nothing to sort of distract me other than driving the car itself. So it's a really like reflective time when I drive this thing. It's just me, the car, the road, trying not to die when it comes on boost. It's brilliant. I just love this machine. I really, really do. And it's definitely a responsibility that I take really seriously. So this car stays in good operation, because at the end of the day, she's an antique now, and it's the most valuable thing I own aside from my house, and it deserves all of the love and respect that it needs. So it's going to be a journey. We're going to get those things ordered and get the car in to them again to get them fitted. But I'm just happy to have her back. She's a lovely girl.
So there we have it, we've got the 930 back. First of all, she's going into high caliber detailing. I'm not going to see my girl now for a couple of weeks, but it's all going to be so worth it in the end. Whilst Porsche Center Wolverhampton order the bits that I need, George is going to be taking care of her. There are some paint correction bits and also some little things that I've been so upset by. I trust high caliber detailing with my car because they have dealt with my E92 M3, and also my good friend Joanna Fidalgo took her E46 M3 down here, and I saw what an amazing job that they have done. I'm basically trying to get ahead of some of the little issues around the paintwork and the bodywork before they get too bad, including that surface rust on the sill. The car is going to look amazing. I can't wait to see it. See you soon.